user FC6W. Guys, put your names in. It's easier than when generic usernames. Anyway, this user says the match by match critique of Slam was great. Kevin, you are so cool, as you point out. This is nitpicky, but if you did this, then it's great to get a veteran's perspective on the current product, as you are so respectful in how you critique. I think they could have cut 5 minutes of Orton and Owens brawling with the Bloodline to give Steiner and Sammy more time.
And in actuality, Bronson and Sammy went short. They went shorter than they were allowed.
So they weren't told to shorten.
They went home early. So I'm sure
another inside.
I'm sure that user, whoever it was, just said that Paul was in absolute agreement with you, because it was booked for about 3 or 4 more minutes.
That was one of the critiques, and that's an aspect of putting together a wrestling show that can be maddening, because you want to make sure that what's happening at the end of your card, you've got enough time for, because that's what everyone's showing up for, right? So everything that happens before has to be pretty rigorous. One of the criticisms I used to hear about Michaels all the time was that he was on his own timer. He went out and did what he thought it was going to take.
There was you had a window back then. So you had 2 hours and 49 minutes, and then after that you had to pay extra money, or you lose the feed or whatever
for the pay-per-view. Yes.
Yeah. So now that isn't that, because I was talking to Gunther, and he was on before the main event, and I said, he said, we have 20 minutes. He says, but I think I'll get everything in. I said, yeah, the old saying, if you're not last, you really don't have to worry about going over. And he laughed. He didn't laugh, but he smiled at me. He goes, it's not like that anymore. He says, everybody gets their time.
But back then, though, it was significant, because if I took longer, then I just took something from your match by my going longer.
I think a lot of top guys had a history of that. There were guys that needed it. If their style was different. If Hulk's the fucking guy, you just how much time do you need? Really, the differential in Hulk's match, the basic psychology of what he used, was how much heat the guy was going to get on him. Because sooner or later he was going to,
right,
and shit was on. So that's.
But if your match is not, his matches were very regimented. How it would go. He'd come out hot, get the heat on his opponent for a while, do the big comeback, and then whatever the finish was going to be, the finish was going to be. But when it was much more open-ended, how aware are you even? I know the ref is in there too, but you're pacing by feel. You're doing this by feel. You don't know you were out there exactly for 17 minutes so far, right?
But I think, this is just speaking for myself, I know within 10 to 15 seconds what I need to get the finish in. So no matter where, you might not, we didn't have everything ironed out exactly to what we were going to do, but we knew that when the time was right and we got the go home, we were either going to do a double down, we were going to do something, and then we would come out of that into the finish. And we knew that we had, say, a minute and a half. So I would say buzz us at 150. Because we do the deal double down, sell 20 seconds till the people rumble. Then you're up. Now you got 120 to go, and you go into it. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Then you still want there to be 20 seconds minimum of, especially if you're a babyface, of you holding the belt, beauty shot, credits underneath, boom, fade to black. But now they're not under those restrictions, but